Going here. At this time, I'd like to reconvene the regular board meeting. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Arancibia,
Present.
Hall,
Present.
Segura,
Here.
Solis,
Present.
Tarantino,
Here.
Aguirre,
Here.
Campos.
Here.
Okay. We will now hold a moment of silence. And if you give me 1 second, I have a gentleman that I wanted to include in our thoughts for the moment of silence. So we lost a custodian a few weeks ago, Antonio Sena. So if we can keep him in our thoughts for the moment of silence, it'd be appreciated. And then we'll let the Vice President lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir.
Sounds good. Right hand over your heart. Ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I should say that was Mr. Antonio Sena. Let's go with the board met in closed session preceding this meeting to discuss the following issues. 1, public employee evaluation appointment transfer, Government Code 54957. 2, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, reclassification, reassignment, resignation, transfer, Government Code Section 54957. 3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, paragraph 2 of subdivision D of Government Code 54956.9. 4, conference with labor negotiator, Government Code Section 54957.6. And 5, public employee performance evaluation, Government Code Section 54957. The board took the following action, moved by Solis, seconded by Arancibia, to approve the appointment of Dr. Jesus Yola Higuera as acting principal of Lodge Academy with a vote of Arancibia yes, Hall yes, Segura yes, Solis yes, and Tarantino yes. Moved by Arancibia, second by Segura, to approve the resignation and general release agreement with one certificated employee with a vote of Arancibia yes, Hall yes, Segura yes, Solis yes, and Tarantino yes. There we go. At this time, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda for the August 23rd, 2021 regular board meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Yes.
Arancibia,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Segura,
Yes.
Solis,
Yes.
Tarantino.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Great. We're ready for the baseball team. The board is proud. They're coming in. They're coming in. Here comes the ball players. Maybe we can send them right to Petco and do some good there. Right here, gentlemen. Just right here. Just facing the
You guys can face outward.
face the camera and the. Thank you, gentlemen. The board is proud to recognize the Eastlake High School baseball team for winning the CIF San Diego Open Division Championship. I give them a hand, just right there. The team had an impressive 25-10 season record and defeated Grossmont 8-3 to take the title. We are honored to welcome and congratulate Coach David Gallegos and the Eastlake High baseball team on this incredible season. One more round, yeah. And Coach is Coach here. Oh, there you are, Coach. You're like mistook you for a player right there. If you wanted to say a few words, sir, and then we'll take a picture. We'll stand up behind you. We won't
Okay.
get close.
I just want to say thank you to the Board of Trustees and the superintendent and everybody else involved. I want to say thank you for recognizing our program. In the past, we have not been doing that, but we have a lot of kids that not here today are in college now or away playing college baseball and going back to school. But I just want to say thank you very much, and it's been a blessed year, and it's been Eastlake's been blessed in these last 6 or 7 years with the draft of the kids that are in the draft and going to college in the scholarship ways. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good job with that, Coach. So we can take a picture, and how can we set it up? So,
We're gonna just scoot over this way so we can get Ms. Hall. Oh, that's right. Oh, you get me over here so you get the screen.
want to get an angle?
Thank you. Thank you, Frank.
All right. And now we're ready for the Otay Ranch High School. Hi, welcome. Come on in. You can just line up here and face that way. That'd be great. Right here against the board. Yeah, and just face that way. Yeah. And then I'll say my part. The board is very pleased to recognize 2 tennis players from the Otay Ranch High School for being the San Diego Section CIF Mixed Double Champions. Yeah. To COVID, for the first time ever, CIF merged boys and girls tennis teams and held a mixed doubles division under the leadership of Coach Dan Woodard, Emily Valencia, and MJ Abarca. Is that right? Abarca, thank you, sir. Won the San Diego section. I'm known for screwing up people's names, sir. Sorry. Won the San Diego section mixed doubles championship. We are very proud of these players for this unique championship win, and are very happy to congratulate them today. And Coach, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you to you, and I'll let her take the microphone.
Thank you, Principal. The principal is here.
Yes, the principal is here, and I could really get used to this. I can. This is my second time in a month being in front of you, and we would like to thank you for your support. I do want to tell you that watching the Otay Ranch High School athletes, from the softball to tennis, really pursue victory with honor, which is the tenet of the CIF. I'm really proud as a principal to say that that's what they've been doing. They've played really hard, they lose gracefully, but they win even better. So thank you for your support and congratulations.
Thank you, Principal Peralta. We'll take a picture. We'll come down and take a picture. We can swing that way.
Okay.
Hasn't got one off yet, right? There you go, Barney.
Ready, everyone? 1, 2, and 3. One more here. All right.
Cooking already. All right, we'll now provide an opportunity for the SDCOE representative, Dr. Mark Scavarna, to make any comments.
No comments tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We will now have an update from our superintendent, Dr. Moises Aguirre.
Thank you, President Segura. So as we continue to and go through our school year, I think it's critically important to thank all of our staff. In particular, I wanted to thank our nurses because there's been a lot of contact tracing that has occurred. And I think it's critically important that we continue to maintain our education program in person while ensuring that we are doing it in a way that's safe and that we have we're following all the appropriate protocols. So I also want to say thank you to all of our staff and our teachers and our students for continuing to observe the protocols. One of the things that we have done recently is established a method for sharing our communication with all of our staff, with our parents. So you can expect an update every week on Fridays whenever there is an update or a change to the guidance that we are receiving from the California Department of Public Health, the San Diego County Office of Education, or the CDC. And so again, with that, we're trying to ensure we're communicating with all of our families effectively, with all of our staff and our students, so that we can ensure that the most accurate and timely information is out there, understanding that guidance does change and it's changing on a regular basis. So we are attempting to ensure that we're getting this information out to all of our stakeholders, so there's a clarity around our process. Because we know that it can be a challenge to keep up with all the changes. And lastly, thank you for your patience as we go through this year of COVID, almost 2.0, trying to make sure that we are staying up to date in a way that follows all the protocols. So thank you, everybody, and that is my update for this week.
Thank you, sir. We'll now have a report from our alternate student board representative, Natalia Campos, and welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Gabriel Stubberfield and I recently had our very first meeting with the 21 to 22 ASB high school presidents, as this meeting took place on August 10th, as we got to discuss school year goals. And speaking in behalf of some of the ASB presidents, some goals that they had is they would like for the students to feel more connected to the community and to have a welcoming environment. We also discussed how these first few weeks have been and what were some issues or struggles that we noticed, as each ASB president was able to give advice or some suggestions to one another, which is essentially the goal that me and Gabriel would like to have, is to have a support group and to have a way that they can communicate with one another to hopefully make the schools as best as we can. Furthermore, Gabriel and I also created a Remind group chat so the ASB presidents can communicate with one another at any time or place with any issues they may have. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the point on the agenda where members of the public may address the board on any matter not on the agenda and have 3 minutes each to do so. The Board of Trustees cannot legally take action on or respond to matters not posted on the public agenda, but will refer the matter to the superintendent's office for review and report. Speakers shall refrain from using profanity and shall speak in a respectful manner. Thank you for your cooperation.
Anna Rodriguez.
Good evening, Board and Superintendent Aguirre. I definitely was not prepared for tonight. I was called to by our coach for a meeting at 5 p.m. for parents. And so I'm here on behalf of the last minute notice and parents not being able to attend. So we got some unfortunate news that our football game was canceled once again this week. Last week it was canceled because of a close contact within the football team. This week apparently it was the same thing. Sadly, we do know, just because of kids talk right on the team, don't care who it was, but it is unfortunate because the first kid that got tested was fully vaccinated. And so there's that, which also comes to speak in my notes that I jotted down while I was waiting. And then the second kid that was tested only went because he wanted to be safe and had no symptoms, and come out that he was also tested positive, hence the game being canceled this week. So it's just extremely contradictory, the way that we're kind of saying vaccinated versus unvaccinated versus negative test, being able to go to school with a negative test if you're not vaccinated, and no symptoms, but you can't play any extracurricular activities. However, if you are vaccinated, you don't have to have a negative test. You can go to school, and you can play extracurricular activities, although you could still be asymptomatic and you could still spread it. So there's just no logic there, right? It's really hurting the kids at the end of the day. I mean, as parents, we've kind of talked like, why don't we just require negative tests then before games or before practices, if that's the case? We have these rapid tests everywhere. Why can't we implement something like that so that it stops getting taken away from our kids? My son is a freshman. Super excited, has been excited because I haven't let him play tackle football up until now. And of course, his first 2 games have been canceled, and they're all feeling extremely defeated right now. And I know that's not the goal. I understand health and safety are at first, but there's got to be a better way. If we can do negative tests to go sit in a classroom for an hour and a half next to somebody in less than 6 feet, but yet they can't go outside, go to practice, and or play a game where, it just doesn't make any sense. There's that. I'm sure I missed something on that topic, but the second one is a new rule about masks having to be worn during practice and on the field. They have mouth guards that they wear. They have helmets that they wear. You tell me how that is even safe to be running around. I don't know if you guys, I've gone to the gym, tried to work out with a mask on. It is not fun, and it is very difficult. The kids are outside. Not only that, this rule isn't necessarily across the entire district. So how does that play out? Or I shouldn't say only across the district, across other districts. We play against schools that are in other districts. Totally unfair. The last thing that I have, and I know my time is just about up, we have with regards to the field, right? We are one of the last 4 schools, I believe it's Chula Vista, Southwest, Castle Park, and Mar Vista, I believe, that don't have our turf fields in yet. The bond was approved, 3 years ago? I don't understand. I know Bonita's next up to get their list, and yet they get to play at the college, at the junior college. What, because their practice fields aren't good? I'm sorry, our practice field and our game field is dangerous. The kids, my son was one of them, doesn't even know how far to run because learning the plays, he don't know how far 5 yards is. Can't even appropriately practice because their fields aren't marked. Coaches had to beg to get people to come out there and do that stuff for them. It just doesn't make sense. This is all on the west side. All the new schools got it. We're losing players on this side. We barely had enough to have a JV team put together because people want to go play at the schools with better sports facilities, and I honestly don't blame them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Kathleen Cheers.
Good evening. I'd like to begin by thanking Dr. Gary and the board for allowing the public to continue sharing comments via telecom. Your sensitivity to the health concerns of the community in regards to COVID is commendable. Respectfully, I request the board ask for an update on HVAC availability at all school sites and in all classrooms and offices. Over the span of a few weeks, parents have shared concerns over their child's classrooms not having working HVAC. Of special concern, and most recently, a SPED parent at Eastlake. Public comment last meeting shared concerns by a counselor and teacher. Both Ms. Beal and Ms. Elam well documented for their expertise. I applaud both for their courage in speaking out on behalf of the students they care so deeply about and their fellow peers. It does not escape me, both campuses referenced are schools whose valuable students are at risk and deserving. Upon completion of the meeting, I was left wondering how many other campuses are struggling with issues of need. One of the issues raised by beloved Sioux High teacher Ms. Elam is the need for more teachers. Is that being addressed? How is Sweetwater adhering to CDC guidelines when students are packed into classrooms with little regard to the physical separation recommended? Have the inequities referenced by Ms. Beal been corrected? Early COVID community member Nadia Dotto raised a question regarding HVAC filters. She not only recommended an upgrade, but identified the specific upgrade. Sweetwater chose instead to purchase ionizers, which studies prove offer no real protection. My question, what now? Now that the Delta variant is attacking our younger population, And what of our teachers, counselors, and extended staff? Do you not have a responsibility to protect them? I was contacted by a Bonita Vista Middle mom regarding a video that had gone viral. It is my understanding a black female student had sought the assistance of district staff regarding the racial slurs aimed at her, to no avail. She took the matter into her own hands. It is no secret there is a history of alleged discrimination of staff and students at Bonita Vista Middle. The question is, when is Sweetwater going to address and correct the inequities staff and students continuously raise? Black Lives Matter to Sweetwater, or so you say. But do they really? Moving on to SPED. Parents are alleging Sweetwater is doing the bare minimum in the services they are providing, and even cutting back IEP services. Speaking frankly, why do you care so little about this vulnerable population? Is it going to take a class action to garner services provided on IEPs? I thank you for your time.
Meg Garcia.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board and superintendent. My name is Meg Garcia, and I've been a teacher in this district for 25 years. My mom was a teacher in this district for 38 years. And I'd like to say, before I get to the end, that I would welcome any of you to come and visit any of the campuses. You can come and hang out with me for the day to see what the atmosphere is really like right now. I want to say that I'm very confused about the priorities this year. For me, school, it always starts and ends with the students and what they need to be successful. I started the year with none of my technology working, and it's been pieced together, but my original technology still doesn't work. I started the year with 3 of my 5 classes with 45 students each. I'm not sure how that works with social distancing guidelines. Within the first 3 days of school, 10% of my students were out on quarantine. It's a revolving door of students who are in quarantine or testing positive for COVID, and it's exhausting to keep track of. We started the year with 7 unfilled positions, with all teachers having to give up their prep periods because there was no plan to take care of it. Thank you for raising the sub-pay so we can get a little help, but why was that not in place months ago? And we still have 3 or 4 unfilled positions at Sweetwater with students who have been denied an education for 6 weeks, and that is unacceptable. Why wasn't there a discussion about the fact that we have 2,800 students during lunch crammed together in the middle of a pandemic? Why not have split lunches? What would be best for kids? How about the later school start that we're going to have to adopt next year? Why wasn't that discussed? In our faculty meetings, the one time when we can come together as a staff, why are we covering trainings that we already do? Why aren't we getting information about COVID or working through immediate needs for our students or discussing our upcoming WASP visit? Why are our administrators being asked to do double the evaluations this year in the midst of everything else? Each school is struggling to build a community in schools that have not been up and running for 15 months. We have fights and we have students who are just not used to the structure of school. Why was there no plan in place to help schools create and build culture? We have students who have spent 15 months on their own terms struggling profoundly, and they've been expected to jump back in like nothing happened. What happened to the mantra of self-care and grace? I feel like I'm being asked to do the impossible with no support or tools, and I'm beyond exhausted. I would need a full tank of gas to get to empty at this point. And on top of all this, COVID. There's no simple, straightforward guide to what we're supposed to do for ourselves and our students and our families. There's been a plethora of information spread out through a million emails, but it's not user-friendly. I don't know what to do on a day-to-day basis. I have to say that I love SUHSD. It's my alma mater, it's my home, it's my sanctuary. And I don't want to go there anymore. I fight to get in the car every morning. I cry all the way home. I can't wait to get out of SUHSD, and that makes me profoundly sad. My teaching spirit has been broken, and I pray that it can get fixed at some point. So I ask you again, what are our priorities right now? Thank you.
Thank you.
No further speakers.
Thank you. Clerk of the Board, will you please read the items being pulled from the consent agenda?
The following items are pulled. F3 by staff, F4 by Mr. Tarantino, F6 by Mr. Segura and the public, F7 by Mr. Segura, G1 by Dr. Arancibia, H2 by Mrs. Hall, H4 by the public, M1 by the public, M3 by the public, M4 by Dr. Arancibia, M6 by the public, and Q2 by Mr. Segura.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Campos,
Yes.
Arancibia,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Segura,
Yes.
Solis,
Yes.
Tarantino.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Let's move to F3. Anyone want to go first? Oh, Vice President Solis, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, President Segura. I want to say thank you to the teachers and staff for continuing to work super hard during these crazy COVID times. I know it's difficult, and thank you for letting us know what's going on in the classrooms. And I'm sure we're gonna get to that, and hopefully straighten some things out. With regards to the information of COVID, I was thinking what Ms. Garcia had mentioned was regards to things are in different places. If we can have like a concise place where we can put something together, just so people are able to go to it and not have to go looking for the information with regards to guidelines and COVID testing and whatnot, and information about COVID itself with the new Delta variant, and just if we can just have some place where it's concise, either online or a pamphlet or something that we can create to get to our teachers, parents, and staff. Let's see this. With regards to the Chula Vista football field, yes, if we could see if we can get somebody out there to delineate the practice field. I know there's work being done to get to that, but I know with the prop money we can't use yet. So, but as soon as we can, we will. But if we can get a hold of Ms. Rodriguez and just give her an update, and any other parent that's interested in getting that information. And finally, I wanted to thank the Hvac Project, which is a charitable nonprofit that's run by SUHI alumni Jonathan Santos Galendez and Chris Osuna. They provided a free surf camp for National City kids this past Saturday. So I believe they're going to continue doing that. So if anybody's interested, feel free to look them up. They're on Facebook, social media. It's Jaro, J-A-R-O, the Hvac Project. So feel free to support them and see what other events they will be doing for our kids. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice President Solis. I'll go next. So I recently attended our junior college's ribbon cutting and welcoming for Dr. Mark Sanchez last week. And the ribbon cutting was their beautiful, if you haven't seen it, you need to go see it, is their beautiful Performing Arts Center. Not only did they do a ribbon cutting, they had dancers, they had all kinds of acts and entertainment going on in the different rooms in the facility, and it's just really nice. And I know a lot of our students will benefit from that facility. They've done a real good job with that, and I want to welcome Mr. Sanchez, and if we could, my ask would be to communicate with him now that he's he is the superintendent, president superintendent. If we could talk to him and his staff about doing a co-board meeting and come up with things that we could been working on, and just go from there, sir. And then I played in a fundraiser golf tournament, the Emo Brown Foundation, which is a very good organization run by a lot of local former students and community members from the South Bay, and they're awarding $2,000 scholarships, I believe, to a number of students. They haven't awarded them yet, but not only just for college, but if somebody has an idea and they're an entrepreneur, they're going to give them a helping hand too. And I think Mr. Arancibia probably knows some of those board members there, but they do a really good job, and I was honored to play in their scramble. We didn't win, but we had a great time at Chula Vista Muni. And that concludes mine. Mr. Trustee Tarantino, yes, sir.
Thank you, President Segura. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all of the certificated personnel who have crossed over from probationary 2 status to permanent status. Congratulations, and I hope that you decide to have a long and fulfilling career with us as you embark on this new chapter of your professional life. Congratulations to the Bonita Vista High TV producer Julian Rodriguez, nominated for the 2021 All-American High School Film Festival, which will be held in New York City, and from what I understand, he and his parents will be attending that film festival. I'd like to thank Castle Park High School PE teacher Bobby Acosta, who came to the rescue of one of her students in her PE class who was choking on a piece of plastic. And again, I think that just shows the dedication and the quick thinking of the teachers and classified staff that we have working for us. Congratulations to the Sweetwater Union High School District Budget Control Analyst, Veronica Plummer, for being named the Countywide Classified Employee of the Year via the San Diego County Office of Education. And last of all, congratulations to our retired Hilltop High teacher, Tom Rice, who celebrated his 100th birthday by parachuting out of an airplane over the Hotel Del. And luckily, he didn't crash into it. So, again, nice way to celebrate your centennial, and wish you many more. That's all I have, President Segura.
Thank you, Trustee Tarantino. Anybody else have one? Trustee Hall, did you have anything you want to report on, or you're good?
Yeah.
Knock out on Sebia?
Yes, I'm going to say something. My hearing aid pops out of my ear right now. I want us to kind of keep in mind in perspective of what the endeavor that we're trying to get through this year. I know that it's been a tough road getting back in, and we're still getting cases even though folks are vaccinated, and we knew that this was going to happen. But I also want us to keep in mind too, we were just happy to have sports last year, and we were also just happy to open our doors this year. I want us to kind of give a little bit of generosity and patience. If we can give more support to the teachers in terms of substitutes, which we're trying to do, and trying to provide more coverage so that we have instructors in every class without folks not getting a prep or a break. We should do that, but I think we also should keep in mind we're trying our best. We should offer patience and at the same time too, generosity to each other. And I feel for you teachers that feel that you're not being supported. We're trying our best to be able to support you in this time. At the same time too, we understand the difficulties of returning right now. My own daughters have been sent home because of their symptoms. I've had to wait at home with them for 2 or 3 days while the CR test came in. Even though they both came up negative, the reality it is we're trying to keep as many people as safe as possible. I mean, the only way we can do that is by testing, by getting ourselves tested, getting ourselves vaccinated, which we still have too few people vaccinated in our district, both students and adults. We should be shooting for 100% vaccination from all educators, para-educators, bus drivers, anybody that's working in our district, we should be shooting for 100% vaccination. Much the same way we should be shooting for 100% vaccination of our students, and we have to quit being afraid of the whole issue of vaccination. Today, the FDA approved Pfizer's vaccination. And it would make common sense for all of us to get vaccinated. But we still have folks that are taking an opposite stand, and for the life of me, I can't understand this. We want normality, but we're not willing to take the step of a simple shot or 2 shots. The faster that we get the shots in everybody's arms, and the faster the county moves forward, the least chances of anything great happening. hospitals collapsing, of us having to close down basketball games, football games. And I just implore everyone to please get themselves vaccinated, get folks that you know in your neighborhood that need vaccinated. And that's the only way we have forward. And in the meantime, can we just offer each other a little bit of patience, a little bit of grace with regards to the difficulties that we're going through? We're all going through. And there is no set road. We're going to make turns one way, we're going to make turns another way. And I just want us to have, the grace enough to be able to say, yeah, we tried our best, and we're trying our best. And you know what? The other thing too, there are beautiful things happening in the district too. We're back on financial firm footing. We have sports and many of the sites. We have students that are back to face-to-face learning. My daughter is actually really happy to have a science teacher that she loves. And she's there face-to-face, but I think the other thing is to look at the cup as half empty. We're trying our best. Let's try looking at it as half full as well. And this transition was never supposed to be an easy one. We knew this was going to go through. There are things that have fallen through the cracks. We're trying to listen, we're trying our best to be able to adjust and move as days go forward. I thank all of the educators in our district for what they've done. It's damn near a miracle if you think about it, to go from 0 to 150 miles an hour. So thank you for your efforts, but let's have patience and grace with one another.
Thank you, Dr. Arancibia, and I concurred with, I would say, all your remarks, and we know when it's very tough for all educators, teachers, and and the Miss Rodriguez, I think, or Garcia, who's on the call, and appreciate hearing her perspective and her it's very upsetting. She was very upset, and I appreciate that, and I know she just wants to have the best for her students, and we are doing that as best as we can, and we've done a lot of things proactively, and some of the things we've had to just address at as they happened. It's just, this is something that we've never had to do before. It's not, there's no book, and we're writing the book, and we're doing, and a lot of districts, this is not a cop out, but there's a lot of districts who have the same issues with getting substitutes. That's just, they're in high demand, and a lot of, and it's just part of and we raised the amounts, and we're doing our best. I think it'll settle out. And like I've said before, my wife is a principal at an elementary school where the kids are not vaccinated, and I just live that with her every day, and listen to her and try to support her as best I can. And it's really, really tough. So with that, I think we are done with that item, and we can move to F4, Mr. Tarantino.
Yes, I've been contacted by the California Teachers Association urging anyone in the schools to contact your legislators regarding the support for AB 388. CTA is sponsoring this bill to ensure that all teachers have an equal opportunity to a pathway for permanent status. For decades, certain educators, adult education teachers, career technical instructors, and teachers working for smaller school districts or county offices of education with 250 students or less have lacked the permanent status and basic professional rights afforded to the rest of their credentialed colleagues. So if anyone feels so inclined, please call your legislator and ask for support for this legislation, which I think is past due. And I was to our ad hoc committee members, I don't know if this has come across CSBA's radar or not, or if you've received any direction in terms of support for this legislation or not.
I have not. I don't know if the Vice President has, but I definitely think it's something we could.
I'll pass this on
Yeah,
to both
that'd
of
be
you, and
great.
you
I think
can
we can
bring
work on
that
it.
to their attention. Thank you. That's all I have. And I won't move approval because it's just a report.
Thank you, sir. We'll go to F6, pulled by the public and myself.
Yes, I have one speaker, Kathleen Cheers.
I would like to commend Dr. Aguirre for this action. For years, I have watched the CTE teachers request to be seen as a valuable resource offered to our students. My hope, this is the first step to developing a true trades program, which would
Mrs. Cheers?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm going to start again because obviously you couldn't hear me. I would like to commend Dr. Aguirre for this action. For years, I have watched the CTE teachers request to be seen as a valuable resource offered to our students. My hope, this is the first step to developing a true trades program, which would recognize the fact, while not all students are college-bound, that doesn't mean they are not worthy of the training, which would allow them to lay a foundation on which they could build a career path, which would open up a future and work towards a well-paying job. Like the yesteryears of the Sweetwater District, curriculum could be built into a trades program. Board, you offered many promises with the PLA. This community does not view the apprenticeship offered after graduation as the fulfillment of the promises you offered with the PLA. Mr. Aaron Sibley, you just asked for grace. Perhaps, sir, you might want instead to offer empathy to those teachers like Ms. Garcia and others, busting their butts every single day and doing an exemplary job. The community doesn't want excuses. You had 15 months to plan, and to hear that they do not have the software, that has nothing to do with COVID, sir. I thank you for your time.
No further speakers.
Thank you. I had pulled it as well, and I am supportive of this, obviously, and very happy with this, and I'm glad to see that, you know, we are doing something for CTE and those professionals, and I know, you know, we hope to continue to address certain other items and issues there. And I just want to thank the General Counsel, Superintendent, and the President of the Teachers Union, President Walker, and her leadership for making this happen on this item. So with that, I will make a motion for approval of F6. Moved and
I'll
seconded.
second. Or did you already second? Sorry.
Dr. Arancibia seconded. Vote, please. Thank you.
Campos?
Yes.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
F7 was pulled by me. Same conversation. I just want to appreciate and thank Dr. Moises Aguirre, General Counsel, and the team, and our partners at the unions for their work on this and making this happen and getting here for our vote. And thank you all. And with that, I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Campos?
Yes.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
That moves us to G1, pulled by Dr. Arancibia.
Yeah, I looked this over, and I'm going to move to, at the end of what I'm saying, I'll move forward to approving this. But I want to know what other types of assessment that we might be able to, are we considering other types of assessment that might be able to help us gather data to be able to just basically have enough assessment tools to not be in the predicament that we were in during the pandemic, where we were at home and we could have avoided having tests. Are we investigating what other types of assessment we can have to support our understanding, a better understanding of where our students are? That's my question.
Dr. Alvarez.
Good evening, Dr. Aguirre, Dr. Arancibia, board members. So in this case in particular, these are literacy-based assessments. And this is an additional agreement. We already have for grades 7 and 8 full district-wide use of Achieve 3000. And then this is a supplemental support for high school students who are not at grade level in reading. So it does help with the Lexile baseline for our students. For this particular group of students, most of them are English learners, and within the Cengage curriculum that we have, there are a myriad of assessments that are ongoing for students that they can diagnose fluency, vocabulary development, Lexile levels also.
No, and I get that. No, I guess my point is that we were caught flat-footed during the time period that we were allowed to not take the test because we didn't have any more than one assessment. Are we examining other assessments, tools that we can go ahead and be able to support the instruction?
Yeah, so there is no one-size-fits-all platform. I think one of the best assessments that we have is really those ongoing assessments that are occurring in classrooms on a daily basis. So having district-developed, whether it's ongoing formative assessments,
Right.
or cumulative assessments, summative assessments, those we have. So we do utilize our end-of-course assessments, which are more summative.
Right.
And then we do have performance tasks for all of our core areas that are more formative in their manner. So those are elements. Do we have a platform that gives one type of assessment? No, we do not. But if you look at mathematics within our CPM curriculum, there are assessments that are used across the district that we could implement to help support that. In literacy, there are also some other elements that we could utilize to support that.
And that's what I want us to do. I want us as a district to move forward towards having a second or third assessment that will allow us, if this happens again, because there does exist the possibility that we will be in this situation again, to be avoid testing, to be able to basically avoid having to give the standardized test because we have the quantitative data to be able to support what we've done, where we're at. And I think it's important as a district. Other districts, the Chula Vista School District has 2 or 3, if not 4, assessment tools to be able to work with. And I'm just wondering why we as a district don't have those as they do. That's my
Yeah,
last
part of that is because of the grade level. So if you look at elementary, all the students are taking the same type of curriculum and coursework. At the high school level and secondary level, that does not occur. So we have, thousands of courses that our students are taking. So that's one of the critical pieces. We do have interim assessments that are offered through the CASP and Smarter Balance assessments that can diagnose and can tell us where our students are based at a point in time. Dr. Winters and the research and evaluation team really encourage our school sites to utilize those, and we have increased the number of students that are taking those assessments. And that does give us a point in time of where our students are in terms of their academic achievement. So that's another element that we are using. But certainly there are some things that we can do to expand that.
I do think that's something that we need to explore more of and be able to have something in place, hopefully within the next year or so. Okay?
Yeah, and at the elementary, if I can just expand a little bit, they usually do a literacy assessment and a math assessment. Those are the only two. They're not differentiated for content areas or content levels. It's just ongoing.
Yeah.
Once again, there's the nuance at the high school and middle school level that there are just more courses than just one that students are taking.
Absolutely. I know I get that, but I think that we should kind of work on having a little bit more prepared for us. Ready to go.
Anything else from any trustees? If not, Vice President Solis, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, President Segura. With regards to that line of questioning with regards to data, and as I was looking at the contract, they said we can get data. So I wonder if we can get an overall, like an overview of improvement or how the students have been doing, just to help us see where they're at. If that would be good, like a Friday update or something.
We do. We do have that data. We also have that somewhat longitudinal data, so year to year, where we get a mid-year evaluation of where our students are, and then an end-of-the-year evaluation where it shows Lexile growth and improvement. So we can provide that.
Perfect. Thank you.
No further questions. I'll entertain a motion to approve ratify G1.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Campos?
Yes.
Arencibia? Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Move to H2, pulled by Trustee Hall.
Thank you, President Segura. Yes, I pulled this item because I know there's a lot of programs out there and a lot of foundations and other entities that provide this type of training to parents and families and students ongoing. And I wondered if we are we exploring those partnerships, the possibility of having those partnerships as well? I'm thinking of the Yellow Ribbon program, there's another one with Directing Change is the name of it. It's a group that does explore this kind of thing through film, and actually students produce their own films and enter a contest every year. But they have a myriad of resources that they offer. The reason being is that I don't want to just lock it in with one entity, and I know that South Bay Community Services is doing tremendous work across many different areas in San Diego County, and I've been on some of the work groups, a committee for suicide prevention that I attend monthly with the County Office of Ed and the Department of Health and Human Services. And a lot of these, including South Bay, their caseload of the workers doing the work is really heavy. So I think it would behoove us to explore some other options as well. Can you tell me if that's going to be a possibility, Dr. Aguirre?
Superintendent?
Thank you, President Segura. So we are on a regular basis kind of looking at the landscape of service providers. So in this instance, we have had a partnership for the Here Now program, but I know that Dr. Moore is having some explorations within his department, so I'll ask Dr. Moore to expand on that. Dr. Moore?
Thank you, Dr. Aguirre. Good evening, Board. Thank you, Trustee Hall, for the question. Just a couple of things. One is the Here and Now program is a grant-based program that from the San Diego County Health and Human Services Behavioral Health Unit, and it's been awarded to South Bay Community Service. This is the 5th year. It's been awarded for 5 years. This is actually an extension year. And so it's at no cost to our district, and essentially what this Here and Now program does is provides us with educators for our classroom to work with our staff in training and going in and presenting about suicide and using the signs of suicide curriculum. And to Trustee Hall's question is absolutely, we are absolutely looking for more resources. As the board knows, earlier this year, we're approved and have hired on a school psychologist on special assignment who is really heading up our work in this area, particularly around suicide prevention and crisis intervention. And we're looking actually forward to next month, the month of September being Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, to give a very brief presentation on where we are, as well as to Trustee Hall's question about presenting more information about resources we plan to utilize to address this very serious issue.
Well, thank you. Dr. Moore and Dr. Aguirre, I just wanted to mention that the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention has an office here in San Diego, and they do a lot of work they have like a really intense program for parents and for students that they take. The parents meet separately from the students, so they have like an intensive program that meets several times to educate parents and to provide them with the tools to understand the signs, but not only the signs, how to help in the prevention of suicide, because it is very preventable, as you know. When given the right tools, we can save lives. I think that's really important, and I'll try to connect some of those resources with you as well, so you have them to explore. Thank you. And actually, I'll be meeting with the Education Committee tomorrow with the Suicide Prevention Council. We meet monthly, and they'll be meeting tomorrow morning. So maybe one time you could come and meet as well. I can send you the link and invite if you like.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. If there are no further questions or comments on H2, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
You
sorry.
can have, no, it's okay. Mazuidi.
Moved and seconded. Thank you. Vote, please.
Campos.
Yes.
Arencibia.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Segura.
Yes.
Solis.
Yes.
Tarantino.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
The public has pulled H4.
Yes, I have a speaker, Kathleen Cheers.
Thank you. I had sent an email to Dr. Moore asking this question. While I have not received a response, it might be due to the fact my area had problems with Cox on Friday. I am not in favor of police officers on campus, as I believe it sends a negative connotation to our youth. We have heard well-respected teachers like Sue High, Ms. Elam share the negative aspect of officers on campus. Hopefully, conversations between Sweetwater and police departments will include the importance of officers not only being seen as enforcement, but including friendly interaction. Do not receive my comments as anti-police, but rather an opportunity to build trust and open communication. Will schools in San Diego zip codes, the Mar Vistas and San Jacinto Middle, be served by SRO law enforcement? If so, by who and at what cost? Thank you.
No further speakers.
Thank you. I didn't catch that question. Did anybody catch the question? Can that possibly be answered? Thank you, sir.
So I'll ask Dr. Moore. Overall, I think it's more of an invitation for positive engagement with law enforcement on our campuses is the way I interpreted the comment, but I'll ask Dr. Moore for A, his interpretation, and B, response. Dr. Moore?
And again, thank you, Board. And I appreciate the comment from Ms. Cheers. She did send me an email, and I did respond. Unfortunately, it sounds like she did not get that response. But the question was an important one, and she asked, and at least this is what I heard, are schools in the service areas of Imperial Beach and South San Diego are not currently covered by a contract with a law enforcement agency. And the contracts before you in front of this board are for Chula Vista PD and National City PD. And in response to that, and part of my response to Ms. Cheers was that the partnerships themselves with National City and Chula Vista actually allow us to liaison better law enforcement agency to law enforcement agency. In June, we had the presentation from the Chula Vista PD where we had Captain Collum, who regularly connects with us, Ms. Picos, Mr. Chakowski. And so captains very typically have a lot of interagency conversations. And so while there will not be, as of yet, specific partnerships in Imperial Beach area as well as South San Diego County, there is an opportunity to dialogue with those agencies. And I think that has strengthened particularly Mr. Chakowski's role as the school safety and security advisor. And so I think that's really the importance. I think there's an opportunity to continue to explore those relationships with the Sheriff's Department and San Diego PD. But as of yet, we do not have a contract with those agencies.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any other questions or comments on H4? I'll just add that, this is one that we've had some discussion around, and I'm glad this is for a year, correct? So we have a year to work on those relationships, and I'm not a fan of police presence on campuses myself. And I quite honestly think it's maybe it's because I think their presence is maybe looked at different depending on which side of the school district you're on, quite honestly. That's just my opinion, and I just think it could be something that I know, and I've had students and you know, and I've asked them straight up, how do you feel about that? I've said this before, how do you feel about police presence on campus? And they straight up said, it's weird, I don't like it, I haven't done anything wrong, I just doesn't feel right. You know, we're at a school, we're not at a prison. And I know that it's a safety issue, and that's where, you know, that's why, you know, we have to be concerned about safety and things that happen. And I don't know, and hopefully we can get to a place where we could, you know, there's alternatives to it, and we could figure that out over the next year, although a year's not a long time. And but anyways, that's where I'm at with this. So if nobody has any other questions, I'll entertain a motion for H4.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Campos?
Yes.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Hall?
I think she froze.
Mrs. Hall? Segura?
No. Trustee Hall?
Mrs. Hall?
Trustee Hall, can you hear
Yes.
us? Oh, thank you.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
That gets us down to the public pooling M1.
Kathleen Cheers?
Thank you. This agenda item states the County Schools Facilities Fund is being increased by $4 million. Where did the $4 million come from? What fund provided these increases to this fund? Thank you.
No further speakers?
Thank you. Dr. Aguirre, do we have a slight clarification on that?
Yeah, so on the CIP, if you may note, there are a number of items that acknowledge interest that was earned by funds that are currently waiting to be invested into facility projects. But I'll ask Ms. Quirk if there's anything additional to add. Ms. Quirk?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Board. The question was around the Fund 35 for the resource code for the state facilities funds for the projects up top. And that's actually our reimbursement state match funding that we received as a result of the HVAC project. So if you remember, that project was about $38 million in totality, and we submitted our applications to the state of California, and we received a reimbursement of $15.3 million to date, with another 1.6 on its way from Medina Vista Middle School.
Thank you. We have no further questions on that. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Oh, sorry.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Campos?
Yes.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. I believe that takes us to M3, correct?
Yes. We have one speaker, Kathleen Cheers.
I am a 71-year-old card-carrying AARP member. The average lifespan for a woman my age, in good health and with no vices, is 87 years and 6 months. Trustees, I'm running out of years. I don't want my headstone to read, still waiting. Trustee Solis, Trustee Tarantino, you, I am sure, remember quite vividly how one of my first agenda comments was on the Hilltop High track and field. That was back in 2014. I brought to your attention we had already paid for the design plans, which you were being asked to pay for again. I brought to your attention the fact the contractor, and I use the word loosely, only came to fame project was an extremely small park in Los Angeles. I was ignored. So here we are now, mid-2021, and yet another agenda item for more money. Trustees, that was 7.5 years ago. I was 64 and hadn't gone totally gray. Can someone, anyone, answer this question? When will this project be closed out, finito, finalizado? I hope I said that right. And why haven't one of you asked the hard questions? As I would sure like to see an end to this project before I end. You have built entire schools with less problems than this project. Thank you.
No further speakers.
Thank you. So do we have any questions on that, or how do you want to address that? So I had a question. So on that change order, I understood it was because of the amount of dirt, I guess you could say, was increased, and I believe that's why the request is for an additional money. Is that correct?
I'll ask Ms. Quirk for that response. Ms. Quirk?
You might have to give it a minute to, there you go.
Thanks. Sorry about that. So actually, this project is ending. Let's start there. I promised you that a couple months ago. We bid this work. The work is completed. This action tonight actually helps us close out the financials for the project. So not only it is a positive change order in the direction of the contractor, because we had to procure extra fabric because it didn't stretch back the way that it needed to. So that's what the change order is actually for. In addition, when you look at the backup, it also gives us our deductive change orders that are necessary for us to close the project. I have signed the NOC on this project. The next time you see this project will be the last time you see this project, because we will come to you on our CIP and we will close it. And it will say closed forever moving forward. So
NOC is notice of completion?
the notice of completion has been signed. After tonight, the team will go and file it with the county.
Okay, thank you
Okay?
for that.
Thank you. And just so we are all clear, I think we're bringing our next CIP probably the first October meeting, and that's when we'll see this project close. I would
Thank
like
you.
it gone as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Campos,
Yes.
Arencibia,
Here, yes, sorry.
Hall,
Yes.
Segura,
Yes.
Solis,
Yes.
Tarantino.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
M4, pulled by trustee Arencibia.
No, I just wanted to congratulate the district for getting this going. And I'm just really, really proud of us. And this is one of the first pieces of work that Bonita Vista so badly needs. And I just want to congratulate the district for their efforts with this. I feel like my shock in seeing my alma mater kind of takes a little bit of a step back, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to renovate the school somewhat soon. It's in dire need of renovation, but I really want to congratulate you for all your work with this, Ms. Quirk. And with that, I'll motion to approve. Move to approve.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve M4. Vote, please.
Campos,
Yes.
Arencibia,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Segura,
Yes.
Solis,
Yes.
Tarantino.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
M6, pulled by the public.
I have one speaker, Kathleen Cheers.
Yes.
Thank you. And so it begins. Hopefully no future increases will be added to this coal project. This raises another question. For a few years, we were told by Dr. Aguirre the district was in negotiations with the city of IB for an MOU, which would help to defer the $1 million a year maintenance costs. When will the finalized MOU be shared with the taxpaying public? Remember, this pool will be open to the general public. Thank you.
No further speakers.
Thank you. Could we open up and go to page 4? I just have a question on just overall. I'm sorry, from the second, yeah, that one. I just want it kind of explained what each column means, if that could be done. Just for example, like it's on the graph, or not the graph, yes, that one. So could we just get an explanation of each item there, sir?
Certainly.
Not each item, but just of each
The
item.
column and what the general column describes.
And what we're looking at.
Definitely. Ms. Quirk, can you go through that table and describe what each column communicates?
Yeah, give me just a second, because I can't see from... Okay. Yeah, thank you for the question. So, it's broken down by the bid packages. Is that what you're looking at?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, thank you for that, sorry. And then the RFP response had a forecast for what the project cost would be. SD estimate is for schematic design. There's multiple phases in design, so it's schematic design. DD is design development. CDs are construction documents, which is right before we would submit them to DSA. And then there is the actual bid, so it has DSA impacts, et cetera. So it shows you a step along the way of what costs were costing for the project. And then they have it, Rudolph and Sletton has broke this down by the various bid packages that they would have in addition to their project general requirements, et cetera. So we can see the progression of the project costs, if you will. And so that's what this document is displaying for you.
Thank you. And, I just thought it was important that, that we could all understand that. And I've been involved in that sort of stuff, but, and just, just to note that construction costs, as you know, have been high, and material costs as well. So, and I think that's just part of the labor and material, and have just been on the upswing. And it's good to see how this is all formulated and where we end up.
Agreed. I mean, we're seeing unprecedented numbers. I mean, everybody in the industry is pretty blown away right now. We're working in step with our construction managers. They've put together a very detailed analysis. The 25% increase in a year, that's just in a year. That doesn't include what's happened in the last 3 months and what's going to happen in the next 30 days. And so the scary thing is that I think that there's actually a new floor being set on construction costs, and that there's still no ceiling right now. So we are taking a look at this project at Bonita, and we have a few others that we were going to put on the street by the end of this month, and we're pushing those off and looking at the late fall for those to happen. There's a softer market typically. We really don't know what to anticipate, but we're working with our partners to try to mitigate that as best we can, so we can get the work done that we've committed to. So thank you for introducing that conversation, and we will continue to be having that as we move forward.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions on this? If not, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay.
Trustee Hall, did you want to say hello?
No, it's fine. It's fine. You already did.
Okay. Thank
Thanks.
you. Vote, please.
Campos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
And I believe finally Q2, correct?
Yes.
And that was pulled by me, so I just didn't want to approve this and not, bring this to, and this is our resolution on the National Suicide Prevention Month of September, correct? And I'm retired now, so I have time to watch a little TV in the morning. That's all I watch. I watch an hour, and then I go out and dig holes in my yard and do stuff like that, and have a good time at places. But I was watching this show. And this will be a short story, and it was Dan Rather was interviewing Dan Aykroyd, and a lot of people might not, younger people are like, who are those guys? But anyways, the message was he was really close friends with John Belushi, right? And John Belushi, and he was mad at John Belushi at the time because he was doing a lot of drugs, and he wouldn't listen, and he wasn't showing up, and he was hurting, and he was really hurting, and John called him, and the call went to voicemail, but Dan Aykroyd was upset at him, so he didn't take it right away. Well, the next call he got was John was dead, and so he's had to live with that his whole life. He didn't know if he'd be able to make a difference, but his message was just that if somebody's calling you, or friend's calling you, especially if they're struggling, just make sure you reconnect, you contact them, you text them, you call them, you do whatever you have to do. And I thought that was a pretty powerful lesson, a really powerful lesson. And I know, especially as we've gone through COVID, this has really affected a lot of people and our students and community. And I just take this obviously very seriously, and I appreciate this being on the agenda as a good resolution. And with that, I will entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve.
Seconded by Dr. Arencibia. Thank you. Vote, please.
Campos?
Yes.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Segura?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Tarantino?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, that concludes our board meeting for tonight. We are adjourned.
Thank you.